Welcome to NPR, Northampton Poetry Radio, with erstwhile Poet Laureate Rich Michelson. Rich, microphone's yours.
Well, I'm especially thrilled for my guest today because I've known her a long time. And what do they say? I greet you at the beginning of a wonderful poetry career. We have another Pioneer Valley poet whose first book has just come out. So this is especially exciting for me to be able to introduce the audience here to Aiyana Masla, whose book is The Underdream. It's an amazing book. It's out by Cornerstone Press. University of Wisconsin published it. It is seriously the beginning of a great career here. And Aiyana, Bill's holding up the book here so the audience can all see that the cover is also absolutely gorgeous because you did the art as well as the poetry. And let me just say that you come from a very artistic family. So we'll put in a quick plug for whoever's listening. Bob Masla is your dad. And Bob has been an artist at our Michelson galleries for probably about 40 years. We show his artwork, absolutely amazing. So it gets passed down in the family here, both art and poetry. Anyways, let's talk about you. Enough about Bob. We'll talk about The Underdream. And you are reading tomorrow. That's Wednesday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. This will be your Northampton introductory reading. Is that so?
Yes, this is actually the closing of the tour of, it's been 8 readings. I was on the West Coast. I read a few times in the area, but this is the most sort of Central Valley reading. It's Sub Rosa, which is by the Forbes Library by Smith.
So Sub Rosa is a flower shop and botanical lounge that is it's by the Forbes Library, 33B West Street, and this is a fundraiser that you're reading, or so who are we raising funds for?
This is a beautiful organization. It's called We Are Not Numbers. They are a Palestinian, as a Jewish person, I feel really honored to be able to raise these funds. They are a Palestinian-run and led group of poets, and particularly they focus on uplifting youth and Palestinian voices in poetry, particularly in Gaza. We are not numbers, so that they can share who they are, their stories, through how we enter, which is poetry always.
So Aiyana Masla, this is Bill Newman. I'm so pleased to meet you and to meet your book. Could you tell me about the title, The Underdream? What's that?
Absolutely. So this book was written during and following a period of convalescence and long-term chronic pain and illness. And many of these poems emerged for me during acute illness. I was diagnosed with active pulmonary tuberculosis. And it was during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Great timing, huh?
Incredibly dramatic timing. And with this, with the emergence of these poems, I actually began to realize that there was something necessary that was coming through the hardship, something essential that I needed to communicate through being forced to slow down from encountering so much isolation and so much acute and precise contact with mortality and with my temporary body and with my limitations. There was an opportunity for expansion and for a message that needed to come through, not just about myself, but about life and being alive and the preciousness of being alive, and how much I wanted to slow down and how much I had to slow down. And it became clear to me as the book came together that this was an opportunity to share this gift of slowness and presence and encountering the expansion possible in our limitations. And so the title, The Underdream, is emerged out of that realization. It is the dream that was underneath the challenge, the difficulty that I was feeling so much resistance to at first, the hardship, and then realized that there was another dream, an insight that needed to come through. And so that's where the title comes from.
We are speaking with Aiyana Masla, who is reading tomorrow night, Wednesday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. It's at Sub Rosa, which is near the Forbes Library in Smith College, 33B West Street. And it's a fundraiser, so please show up. Aiyana, I had the great pleasure of rereading this book over the Thanksgiving long weekend. And the book is it was so appropriate to read during that time, because the book reset me, gave me a sense of thanks for life. You focus on the little things that we often overlook, that we should learn to appreciate. I'm going to have you read a poem just to give the audience a sense of this, and then I'll have a question for you afterwards. But how about, let's see, page 19, Savored.
Great. Savored. Near the empty soccer field with its wide shoulders, the pink day fading, every beech and maple lit. Husky purple and dim dusk swept feathery blankets over the streets. You pulled the car over, stepped into the smell of frost, shivering clean sips of paper-thin moonlight. Humming pickup, thudding Volvo, flash of teeth and thrum of radio bass. You crossed and stood alone in the dry meridian, picked a small marigold planted by the town department, glowing secret in the quickening night, burning elegy smell of cold pollen. 2 blinking stars, tiny petals, small fires in the blackness, your toes cold, your breath bitter in your mouth, the blossom now crushed in your pocket, salty, a pollen stain you couldn't see but smelt. Small ceremony you almost didn't stop for.
That's Aiyana Masla reading from her brand new first book, The Underdream. Aiyana will be reading tomorrow, Wednesday, December 3rd at Sub Rosa, which is by the Forbes Library, Smith College, 33B West Street at 6 p.m. And Aiyana, this book is so present in a sense, talking about your illness and the recovery. It was quite moving in so many ways. And I'm wondering, did you write this while you were experiencing the tuberculosis, or is it more like Wordsworth, recollected in tranquility? When did this book start taking shape?
It actually was an integral part of my treatment, healing, and medicine. So it was right at the beginning that the first poems came through. Poetry is such an incredible tool for me and for so many in terms of attuning one's attention and being able to see deeper, understand, listen, pay more attention. And so it was a tremendous accompaniment and assistance for me while I was in the midst of deep isolation and hardship. I also feel that there was a way in which, and this is a bit in response to the first question as well of where the title comes from, but as the book began to emerge, it became a way for me to survive, because with these poems and with the understanding that I was creating something, there was a capacity to imagine and dream that I would survive and that there would be a book. So I've been getting deep into the work of Aiyana Elizabeth Johnson. She's a climate scientist and does incredible work. And she has a beautiful book called What If We Get It Right? And in this book, she posits that climate solutions are going to become more and more available to us the more we are able to imagine ourselves taking them up and responding to the climate crisis with solution. And if we can't dream that possibility, if we cannot imagine ourselves surviving and thriving through the climate crisis, then it will be much harder because we will be stuck in overwhelm, paralysis, anxiety. And so in many ways, I was doing a micro version of that. I was imagining and I was dreaming the solutions, the possibility of the book coming into fruition. So it really did start at the beginning and took me about 5 years. I think I was mostly editing the poems. I wrote them all within a year, and then editing was the big undertaking.
Yeah, editing always it. So, anyways, Aiyana Masla is reading at Sub Rosa tomorrow night, Wednesday, December 3rd. This is kind of a homecoming for you. We'll talk about that right after the break. You are a local girl from Ashfield, and we look forward to welcoming you back right after this.
This is Talk the Talk on WHMP. You're listening to Talk the Talk on WHMP.
Welcome back to NPR, Northampton Poetry Radio, with Northampton's erstwhile Poet Laureate, Rich Michelson. Rich.
And I am speaking today with Aiyana Masla, who will be coming back home tomorrow to read at Sub Rosa, 6 p.m. That's December 3rd. And Aiyana grew up in Ashfield. Yeah. How could you leave Ashfield? How's that possible?
I'll make it back.
Yeah, all right.
I'll get there.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to the Pioneer Valley Performing Arts Charter High School.
Yeah. So you know the area. I want to make sure I don't want to run out of time. Let's give us another taste so people know what to look forward to tomorrow. If you can read from your book, Dew and Dirt.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dew and Dirt. Every morning, so far, I am alive. Every morning, as if out of a thicket or fog, the world returns, slowly seeping, wets my skin with color. Life rushes in, messy and ordinary, swollen day pressed against folds unfolding, such softness. And to my surprise, my teeth are all still in my mouth, small and sharp as last night. Every morning, some living hunger and birds.
That's Aiyana Masla reading from her new and first book, The Underdream. Congratulations. You grew up writing poetry and painting, yes, from the earliest time. Did you always know this was going to be your path?
I think that some part of me did. I have been writing almost every day since I was maybe, 9 years old. It is really always come to me as a way to arrive, to enter, to be connected and more present in the day, and also to sort of understand my place in the ecosystem and in the world, in this huge, vast world, my small, little, beautiful life. Poetry really helps me make sense of that.
And in the family, you have a family of artists and writers, and it's so nice. I remember when you used to come into the gallery when your dad was having a show and you were a little one. So it's so nice to see how you blossomed here into a poet.
Thank you.
So getting a first book published isn't easy. Did you? How did it come about? Quickly.
I thank you. I honestly just submitting, and a lot of dedication. I think a fierce commitment to sharing and offering what I knew I had to offer through this book. Getting a book published is not easy. It's so much rejection, and it took a fierce dedication and belief in what I had to share. And after I submitted it enough times, the press picked it up.
It's wonderful.
Just at the top of the show, we had Senator Paul Marks, and he was coming fresh off of a talk about the creative economy, the arts in this area. How do you feel about poetry just moving out of this space?
Great question. I believe that poetry is necessary and as essential as other forms of nourishment, relationships, food, getting to go outside. There is just an invitation in poetry to enter, to connect. And in these times where we are experiencing more and more isolation, quicker and quicker pace culturally, more and more revved up capitalism, there is a tremendous necessity and need to slow down, to give the gift of our attention, to step into the kindness that poetry offers, the way of seeing that poetry offers, the interconnection. So thank you for that question. I'm so grateful to engage with poetry, and thank you so much for hosting me and sharing about this offering and this book.
We're so pleased to have you on the show. Again, Aiyana Masla is reading The Underdream, her amazing first book of poetry. It's available at the local bookstores and online. Wherever you can get it, please pick it up. Once
Should we reading
Sub
tomorrow?
Rosa, December 3rd, 6 p.m. Sub Rosa. Aiyana Masla will be there. You will be too. Everybody, we'll see you then.
Rich Michelson.
And if you don't make it tomorrow night, I do highly recommend visiting Sub Rosa. They're an incredible local business with a very intentional and thoughtful.
Poetry in motion.